Today's project is taking a somewhat spooky and caricature-like portrait and turning it into something that appears to be a little bit more normal, a little bit more human, and slightly more realistic. So the question is, what made it spooky in the first place? Caricatures take those features that a person has that are somehow different from all other people and enlarge those features and make them jump out at you. So a caricature actually looks more like the person that you're caricaturing than even that person looks like himself. It's an exaggeration of individuality. But what we really want in a somewhat more realistic painting or representation is something that looks like the person but also looks like all other people. In other words, you want to make him more average, more normal, and have the features that are specific to himself appear less prominent. And how do we do that? Well, starting with this Halloween, scary, kind of spooky portrait, what I'm trying to do is to downplay the differences by an act of subtraction. I'm trying to blur the portrait, keep some of the things that are real, but not allow the lines to be quite so harsh, not allow the differences from average to be so strong, and to create something that looks like that person but is more human and more average. And the way we do this is by blurring the lines. So we have highlights and we have shadows, and those are the things that we're using to indicate where all the features are and what's going on, what the lighting is like. One of the things that made this particular Halloween portrait a little bit creepy, a little bit spooky, was the unusual lighting. The reference photo was somewhat overexposed, and so the areas of darkness and of light were exaggerated. And I don't know whether you realize this, but if you take any person and you light them up in such a way that exaggerates the differences between the light and the dark areas of their face, you're going to get a somewhat more creepy image. As we soften the lines, we're also making changes to the lighting. Of course, I still make mistakes, and mistakes still have to be corrected. And one of the problems, one of the challenges that I face no matter what I'm doing is that my hand will not do exactly what it is that my mind is trying to tell it to do. So we're still trying to keep those areas of light and darkness, but the final product is more blurry and the differences from average are less distinct. Think the portrait looks less creepy now? Leave me a comment and don't forget to subscribe.